near-death experience. This is the theme of the story I'm going to tell you today, and it is one of many that I also have published in the magazines here in the UK. It happened to Debbie. Debbie was a friend of mine, and when she was 18, she was watching TV in her family's living room when she felt sick. Her mother and sister were cooking in the kitchen. Debbie got up and went to the kitchen to tell her mom she was not well. And when she started talking, there was no voice, and out of a sudden, she just collapsed on the floor, hitting her head, the back of her head, on the floor. As she fell, she lifted up from her body into the ceiling and looked down and was watching the entire scene unfold. Her mother running to the neighbor's house, ringing the bell for asking for help. Her sister trying to shake her. And then she said, I became uninterested and suddenly felt a pull from here into this tunnel. As she was being dragged into this tunnel, she felt regret, a lot of guilt and regret she couldn't explain. And it was so overwhelming. She couldn't bear. And suddenly she felt the presence of a man who she didn't see. And he told her, I don't think there is any use for you to keep living on earth. You are not doing what you said you were going to do, and you're not working with children. You were supposed to work with children, and you refuse to do that. So there is no sense for you to continue there. She remembered me, and then it's another story, another day. Something that I told her that had happened to me, because I also had a near-death experience myself. And she remembered that I told her. I said, I'm sorry. And she said, I am sorry to this presence. I am sorry. Could you give me another chance? And he said, okay. You go back, we're going to be watching you. And if you keep on doing what you're doing, that's going to be it. She comes back to her body with the doctor, because the neighbor her mother went after to ask for help was a doctor. So he was giving her CPR. And she comes back, opens her eyes, and he says, you gotta take her to the hospital. She's got a irregular beat. So her mother takes her to the hospital and they find out she's got a tapeworm egg in the brain. So now he gives her about 2 weeks to have this surgery. Otherwise, this egg can hatch at any time, by the way, and she will die. So her mother, I have to stop here and explain, give a little background. Her mother was a very Catholic woman who had a sister who was even a nun. She studied her entire life in a Catholic school, and she was studying to become a teacher for children. But she did not like children. And she would always say, I don't like children. I don't want to do this. She was also giving piano lessons. She was teaching children. And we used to go out as teenagers together. And she always had bad comments like, She would feel uneasy around children. She didn't want to be around them. So this was the whole situation. Her parents were happy she was studying to become a teacher for children, but she was not. And the religious beliefs of her mother, especially her mother, were too strong. So now they were faced with this death sentence. You have to have a surgery in 2 weeks. But the surgery is not going to, it is going to save her life, but she might come out of it mute, blind, or paraplegic. Desperation was set in, and Debbie had a student, a little girl, who told her, I know a woman who has a spiritualist center. She does surgeries, spiritual surgeries. Maybe you could check, because the situation was a life and death situation. Her mother decided to go to the spiritualist center, and there the owner, a little old woman called Eva, she said, I'll operate on her. And her mother agreed. She went into this little room alone with Eva, and she felt the smell of anesthesia, and she felt something was cutting on her head, and she felt dizzy. And when it was finished, Eva told her that she would have to rest, because that was like a surgery, real surgery. She would have to rest. Debbie was really feeling really tired and a little bit dizzy. So she went home and rested for a week. So she had a week before the hospital surgery, and her parents and herself went to the doctor again and asked the doctor to do some x-rays on Debbie's brain. The doctor said nothing would have changed. This is not going to happen. And they pleaded so much, they bugged the doctor so much, that he agreed. And when he saw the x-ray, there was a scar in the place of the egg. And he was speechless. He couldn't explain what that was. And he asked what had happened. They told him. He didn't believe it, but he was seeing a scar on the x-ray. And Debbie was released from the hospital surgery because there was nothing to be done. She went on to become a professional teacher specialized in children with special needs. Her entire career was taking care of very difficult children with music, because remember, she was also a piano teacher, and she got the two together and was helping children through music, and had a very long career with children until she decided it was enough. Something else really strange that happened in between. Debbie got married. She had her first child, and then she got pregnant again. She's teaching children, small children, and during her break, one comes running and push her to the ground. She lost that pregnancy. She never held any anger towards that child. She was able to accept it as something that was part of whatever her mission had to conquer. I hope you liked this story. If you did, subscribe, give it a like, send it to people you love. Until the next one, goodbye.